Up next, allow me to introduce our first panel, Securing Medical Networks. The panel will discuss what are the challenges in securing medical networks and how it is different from traditional IT networks. In addition, it will discuss the three-way collaboration between SOMPO, Medigate, and Assuta, bringing a new and unique cybersecurity solutions to the Japanese market. Moderated by Omri Green, partner at Grove Ventures, and panelist Tamir Ronen, CISO at Assuta Medical Centers, Assaf Marco, GM at SOMPO Cybersecurity, and Jonathan Langer, CEO and founder at Medigate.
Hi everyone, we have today panel about securing medical networks. So maybe let's start with a quick introduction. Jonathan, from the US, you want to start?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan Langer. I'm the CEO of Medigate. We're a healthcare cybersecurity company and happy to be joining today.
Cool. So Assaf, maybe?
Hi, my name is Assaf. I'm from SOMPO Cybersecurity, head of product strategy.
Tamir.
Hi, my name is Tamir Ronen. I'm the Chief Information and Cybersecurity at Assuta Medical Centers for 7 years now. Assuta Medical Centers is the largest private hospital network in Israel, operating head hospitals and medical centers from north to south.
Cool. And I'm Omri. I'm the moderating. I'm a partner in Grove Venture, investing in Israel in early stage and deep tech companies. Before this role, I was in Clarity of Team A, and I had my own company called ICS Square doing cybersecurity. So I will try to do my best to make it interesting for everyone. So Tamir, so you are the Chief Information Security Officer of Assuta. Maybe explain us, why do medical networks, you need cybersecurity, and what is wrong? Everything is working, right? Besides Corona, everything's okay. So.
First of all, there's a lack of visibility. The traditional solutions provide minimum information about medical devices, such as IP addresses. Most of the traditional solutions cannot provide useful information about the identity of the medical device, its version, security vulnerabilities, and communication between devices. There is no information about default passwords used to access those devices, which are probably the same for every device worldwide. In addition, every medical institute needs to have a live inventory of the medical devices with all the technical information I mentioned earlier that show you the overall risk assessment of connecting medical devices to the IT network.
Cool. And I guess, Tamir, you saw many solutions, right? Before choosing, right? How many solutions you see? I don't know. Every month, every year, in the last 2 years.
I see a lot of solutions, but in this area, there are several good solutions on the market.
Cool. And Jonathan, even me, I tried, to go to Assuta and sell him something, but I was not successful many years ago. And you started a company, right, in this domain of securing medical devices. Why did you do that, right? You can do so many startups in so different, many verticals, many domains. Why to go to medical?
Well, that's a good question. Certainly one that the investors usually ask also, so it makes sense. I'd say there are three main parameters that I was considering. One, we wanted to select a domain where there is a deep technological problem to be solved. And I totally agree with Tamir that some of the pre-existing security infrastructure can't really handle, for many technological reasons, this domain very well. And so we wanted to focus on that. The other parameter was, I'd say, a real pressing need for this kind of technology. And we definitely felt that the market had spoken, especially after the WannaCry attacks, which kind of pushed the market in this direction. And last, healthcare is a big market. So for startup companies out there, on the one hand being focused, but on the other hand seeing a fairly large total addressable market, all of these three parameters together made sense for us, and that's how we started the company.
Cool. Can you tell us a bit more about Medigate?
Sure. So we're a 3-year-old company. Started the company in 2017, really under the premise of healthcare security as our main focus, securing everything in a in a healthcare environment, medical devices, IoT, clinical assets, and so on. The business has been progressing well, and at this point, just 3 years after, it seems like yesterday, we're getting close to 100 people in the organization, mostly focused on the American market, but not just the American market, which I'm sure we'll talk about today. And we're looking forward to the future.
Cool. Assaf, I know a bit about SOMPO, but maybe you can explain what is the relevance between SOMPO, insurance company, and cybersecurity?
Well, yes, SOMPO is one of the biggest insurance companies in Japan and very innovative. They're very innovative by building and creating a digital lab to create a digital business in Japan and around the world. The first spin-off of this project was the security venture that I am in. The vision is to build a one-stop shop for cybersecurity services, first in Japan for the domestic market and then expand internationally. What we're doing actually several verticals and several markets, from enterprise to SMB, OT, and now of course hospitals. Maybe we can talk about the hospital sector later on, but in a nutshell, this is us.
Well, so I think maybe Assaf, you can continue. And I heard the rumor, I think someone told me before this session, that all the three of you are working together, right? Collaborating. And it's a bit, quite unusual. So can you explain the connection between insurance company from Japan, startup from Israel with a CEO in New York, and a big hospital in Israel? So maybe Assaf, you want to start? And...
Yeah, actually, it started from a meeting with a very famous hospital in Japan that has a vision how to protect itself. One of the things was medical devices. And then we started actually this journey. We started the journey, my first call was to SOMPO Digital Lab, and they try to create an opportunities for us professionally. We talked with many companies and we found Medigate as the best partner for us. And before that, when we start to analyze the market, we saw a few engines and a few business opportunities. SOMPO is covering 60% of medical insurance customers in Japan. Together, we also found there's going to be a regulation led by the International Medical Device Regulators Forum, which can be an engine for developing regulations in Asia and in Japan. And as I mentioned before, together with our insurance company, Backbone, it seems like the right thing for us. And after that, we met Assuta. Also, it was a great opportunity. Assuta, maybe Tamir can also talk about it, but they have capabilities to create a consulting service for hospitals in many aspects, and cyber is one of them. We love this idea. We love the reputation of Assuta, and together we are trying to build a consulting service as well. It's still early stage in Japan. It's not in the same maturity level as the US, but we will get there.
Cool. Jonathan, maybe you want to say what you are doing in Assuta? What is the plan?
Absolutely. So when we started looking at the Japanese market, it was probably a year before I met Assaf. There was one thing that I understood is that there is no real way for me as a small startup company to approach this market without a partner. And we started looking at what we can do and what would be the best avenue to proceed. And that's where we met. We incidentally or not incidentally met Assaf and the SOMPO team, and realized that this would be an excellent partner to drive our company into the Japanese market. And I think it's a very unique positioning that SOMPO has because on the one hand, Israeli, so there's good communication between us and an understanding of our needs and also our constraints. And on the other hand, of course, very much entrenched in the Japanese market and have the right relationships and the right organization culture and so on to be successful in that region as well. So it was a good combination, and the realization that partnership is a necessity in order to be successful in Japan, which brought us together.
Great. Tamir, what did we miss? What we should know about this collaboration?
We also bring vast experience in security medical IT networks, especially in clinical processes. We are leading in cyber innovation and collaborate with startups. And we also search for a good partner in order to expand our consulting outgrowth.
Cool. So Jonathan, you know, we are part of Cyber Week. It's a big global event of cyber. You're located in the US. Good for you. You're not in lockdown like us in Israel. And I guess if you are, you are in the US is a huge market for you, right? So, so many entrepreneurs in the crowd, they try to understand why you also looking on Japan. So if you can share a bit, success stories so far in Japan, from your past, from this company, it will help everybody.
Absolutely. So I think that every entrepreneur and every company, there's always, on the one hand, you want to be focused on the relevant market and you want to be execution oriented, but it's also important to dream and to see the big picture. And early on, myself and everyone at Medigate were fascinated by the Japanese market, first and foremost because we felt that there's a deep appreciation for quality, for precision, and for good technology. And we thought like that's a great place to start off with. The other piece was, and now I'm talking about healthcare, is that the size of market in Japan for healthcare is huge. You'd be surprised. There are just a very large sector, even compared to Europe and the United States. So it's not a marginal opportunity. So we definitely felt that there was a potential.
More than 8,000 hospitals.
Yeah, more than 8,000 hospitals, which is just it's an incredible number. So of course we didn't want to neglect that opportunity at all. The one thing that we wanted to do, and this is where also like fate came into the picture, is that we understood that with Japan you have to have a good partner, a solid partner to work with, because there is no the opportunity to sell directly. It's probably not the best path to go, especially when you're spread thin like any startup is.
And especially, Jonathan, in Corona. I'm not sure it's really possible right now to do that.
Oh, even before and in Corona, it's the situation is exacerbated tenfold. So this is where also the relationship with SOMPO and just good vibes and good collaboration came into play, and enabled us to move forward. And in terms of success stories, I think that we're doing projects with SOMPO in the region. I think they're successful. I think we're driving value. And I think it also helped us to understand the unique needs of the Japanese market and the way to approach them, which is certainly different than what we're seeing in other regions. And we think that there's still the best is yet to unfold, and we're excited to continue.
Great. So this
Yes,
collaboration
yes.
sounds amazing. And, Assaf, you want to add anything?
Yes, I just wanted to say that any trip in Japan, it's long and very deep a journey, especially of course business journey. I'm having a discussion with Jonathan's team every other week, and I think they're now only starting to understand how deep are we going to go. There are many requests and questions from the customers or partners and so on. But I think that Medigate is strong enough and capable enough to be with us in this journey.
Cool. And Tamir, there are so many chief information security officers with us this week. Do you have any additional tips for the audience about how to ensure security and safety in medical networks, in hospitals? It's pretty challenging, so maybe you can share a bit more.
First of all, the medical devices needs to be in separate will, but the more important things that you need a dedicated solution regarding the medical devices. As I said, there are several good solutions on the market. And after applying this solution, you will discover things you never knew existed in your IT network. So visibility is one of the important things for increasing security and to mitigate the risk.
Cool. And Assaf, it's pretty interesting, I think, for the crowd to understand what next in SOMPO. What are you looking for? What type of other solution for hospitals, for other markets in Japan? Anything you want to add on that?
We are going in many directions. Actually, this year we kind of focusing and building and expanding what we have. We are going to launch our consulting OT consulting service next month. It's going to be very interesting. We already have a few customers in this area, so that's our current situation, and hopefully we can expand in a good way.
Cool.
In the next few months.
And I try to ignore, but it's not possible. So maybe, Assaf, Jonathan, Tamir, maybe you can share a bit about the challenges in the last 1 year in COVID, approaching new clients, approaching new startups, doing collaboration, installing in hospitals. So maybe Assaf, you can start and Jonathan continue.
Yeah, I think working from home is a challenge by itself. In our company, it was very interesting to see in Japan relationship and seeing everybody physically has a lot of contribution. Taking this out, it's complete changes the culture. My team is in Japan. I'm currently in Israel. So how do you lead? How do you manage this kind of situation? Is also very interesting challenge. And when it comes to customer, I think everybody's everybody's working with a video call. So it's I think it's challenging, but it's possible.
Jonathan, are you able to do any face-to-face meetings in US?
So very little is the answer. Just local things in the city where we get the opportunity. And I think maybe similar to Assaf, what we feel in healthcare is a key characteristic is that there's a lot of trust. Not cybersecurity in general is a lot about trust, but certainly healthcare as well. So a lot of our, I'd say, our method was to meet our stakeholders, to meet internally, to have deep discussions, and this just isn't available. But have the business and life adapts to new realities very, very fast, and we've gone to a new operational mode where we're taking advantage as much as possible of the digital medium, and it's working out just like every organization out there. But we had to modify our processes pretty significantly. I will also say more on a positive note. I do think that it's also opening up opportunities and new thoughts, this new normal situation that we're all part of. And in our space, I feel that there are two things that are happening. One is, I'd say, definitely acceleration of digital trends in healthcare. It's amazing what's happening. I like to call this digitalization at the edge. So telemedicine and more digitalization at the outpatient facilities, because people don't want to go to hospitals because it's dangerous right now because of the pandemic. Want to be more in safer locations, and I think it's creating a very new and interesting digital trend. That there are also opportunities around this from a cybersecurity perspective or a digital transformation perspective. And the other trend that we're seeing is really focus on operational efficiency. Some of the healthcare systems that we're working with, obviously their revenues have been decreased because of the situation. So everyone's more cognizant about budget right now. So maybe going back to Tamir's comment about inventory, when you look at these devices, being able to streamline processes and to be more efficient with regard to the usage of the assets in the enterprise, and tying that around to operational efficiency of the overall enterprise, it's making a whole lot of sense right now for organizations out there. And I also think that it opens up an opportunity for technologies like our technology and others out there in the market to be impactful in that area as well. So that's, I'd say, the main things that I'm seeing from where I sit.
This is perfect. And Tamir, you want to add anything? Anything from your view? Maybe you increasing your budget, the budget going lower, you're doing more new project next year. What do you see in your Assuta?
No budget.
No budget.
Good.
Many more employees work remotely. There are more attempts to send sensitive information out of the organization. We receive 5 times more phishing emails than the average, and there are many more attempts to receive sensitive clinical information by external parties regarding the COVID-19 virus. So it's very challenging.
Yeah, no, this is very interesting. I didn't think about it. Yeah. So I think we are in the end of the panel. Anyone want to add anything that I missed and you want to ask yourself? Assaf, Jonathan, Tamir?
Maybe just one comment on my end, since we're talking about the Japanese angle. So everyone that's contemplating looking into this market or working in this market, I would say this, just some advice. Definitely work with a partner. And number 2, it's a fascinating journey. It's eye-opening working with the Japanese market, and it's a lot of fun. It really builds character. Yeah, it builds character, and it's interesting. So I would definitely recommend looking at this and not straying away.
And number 3, you need a good partner, right? You don't, not just a partner. You need a very good partner, right?
Yes, absolutely. You need a good partner and a committed partner, and which luckily we have.
Yeah, it goes both ways. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's do the same thing next year. See what Jonathan reaction will be.
That's a good exercise.
It's going to be a very tough job for them.
Cool. I will send you a Zoom invite for Cyber Week 2021. Hopefully it will be face-to-face and not via Zoom from New York, Kfar Saba and Ramat HaChayal. So maybe we can meet face-to-face. It will be much fun, right?
Absolutely.
It might be the new normal, face-to-face conferences.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to that.
Perfect. So thank you very much, and it was great talking today, and hope to see you face-to-face after the lockdown in Israel.
Thank you.
Thank you.